Hello everyone, it's Mr. Gallagher here again. Today I'm just going to do a wee tutorial on Google Classroom hints and tips, mainly to do with completing the work and actually uploading the work. This is one of the topics that I've received most emails about ever since we've started with Google Classroom. One of the reasons for this, I think, is because there are so many devices being used at home, and people are using different browsers, people are using mobile devices, laptops, desktops, Mac products, and everything works slightly differently depending on what device. So I'm going to start off by logging into Glow. So again, just through Google Chrome, which is the kind of the best browser that seems to work for Google Classrooms. So type in Glow. Again, the first up here is the Glow sign-in page. And on the sign-in page, we put our username and then our password, which I've already done here, and we click sign in. Okay, now before I go any further, most of the hints and tips today are involved basically completing a document and then downloading it to your actual device and then uploading it from your device onto your Google Classroom. Now, the most efficient way of doing this is actually to make sure that you can choose where you're downloading it to. So if we go up to our little three dots up here at the top, that opens up a new menu, and if we go to settings, we're going to be able to make a change to the settings so that I always get to choose where something downloads to. And quite often, if it doesn't give you that option, it downloads it straight to the downloads folder of all places. But it can be a little bit problematic. I personally prefer to be able to choose where I download to. Okay, once we are in the settings, we can scroll down to the bottom and we go to advanced settings. And here there's a section on downloads. Now, I've already got this set, but for some of you it might actually be turned off at the moment. So ask where to save each file before downloading. I want that on because I want to be consulted so I can choose exactly where all my documents go to. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can just close that down because it's already been set, and we're back at my Launchpad. If you're using a different browser, there will be something similar using the side of an internet browser where you can actually go in and you can change those settings yourself as well. Okay, so to log into Google Classroom, I'm going through the Launchpad. Here we go. I've got Google. I'm going to click. Okay, I'm now going to select my class. Now the class I'm using today is the Scotstoun Mr. Gallagher's test class. And here it opens up on the kind of the main home page, which is also called the stream. So I know that some classwork has been set, so I'm going to click on classwork. And if I have a look here at this topic of test activities, I can see that the upload test activity which is due tomorrow. This is the one that I'm going to actually do at the moment. Okay, so when I click on it, it opens up some of the information, but I actually want to see the whole assignment, so I click on View Assignment. Okay, so I'm inside the assignment now. I can see this assignment is called Uploading Test Activity. I've got the little section here to add or create. This is where I can actually upload documents from. I'll show you that later on. I also mark as done so that the teacher gets a wee notification to say actually that I've completed this. There's a private comment section, so if I want to ask the teacher anything just privately without putting it on the public stream on the homepage, I can just do it here and only they will see it. I can also see loaded here for me to have a look at. So one's the Comprehension Strategies Book A, and I also have Mr. G's Microsoft Test Microsoft Word activity. The instructions say please complete the question on Mr. G Test Microsoft Word activity. You can do it on paper or Word. Okay, so I'm going to go straight ahead with that. So I'm going to click on it first and have a wee look at the questions. Okay, so I've opened a Word document here. So this is just a wee sample activity of what you could do. So at the moment, I can't click on that anywhere. So I do have a main different option. Okay, so if I hover over here, I get more actions. So if I click on this, you open it in a new window. Now, for some reason, I'm not too sure why, once it opens in a new window, you get a few different options of how you can I don't know, either use the document, download it, something like that. Okay, so now that I've got it opened in a new window, I've got a few different options here. If I click Open With, I've got Doc Hub, which I'll show you later on. I can actually open it in Google Docs, which is a Google application very similar to Microsoft Word. I've got other options up here as well. I can add shortcuts, I can print it, I can actually download the file. And there's a few other options here. Okay, so today, as I mentioned before, the easiest way is just basically to download stuff, do it on your device, and then upload it to your class, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to click download. Okay, and it opens up this very familiar box here as to where I want to download it. So again, it's given me the choice because I changed the settings earlier on. It's given me the choice. I want to save that to my Google Classroom, and I want it Mr. G Test Microsoft Word Activity, but I'm actually going to call this one completed, so that I know that it's the document I've actually answered. Okay, so I can actually see here down at the bottom left that this has been downloaded. So I actually want to open this now so I can complete the work on the Microsoft Word document. Okay, and it has opened the document actually on my computer. So I want to enable editing. Okay, and now I can complete it. Mr. Choose test activity. Oh, we typo there. This is supposed to say on. Okay, I'm just going to answer these questions. So it's, what's your name? My name is Mr. Gallagher. What country are you from? I am from Scotland. Okay, so just to give you a wee idea, I do the document. I want to save it so that it records the changes that I've done. File, save. Okay, and because that's saved now, I'm just going to save that for later on because it has actually been saved in the correct folder, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so that was the first activity done within my Google room. So I'm going to go back to my Google class where I was before and have a look. Okay, so Mr. G test word activity, that has been done. You can do it on paper or Word. I chose to do it on Word. Okay, so the next activity was to complete pages 4 to 7 on this following comprehension booklet. I can do it on paper, on Word, or on DocHub. So if we open up the file, we can see here that the first page 4 is a little text, and then we have some questions in the following pages that we have to complete. Now, this is a PDF file, which can be a wee bit problematic sometimes because we can't actually just edit them or write into them. So different ways of doing it is we can actually just read the questions and actually do the work on paper or in a jotter, and then we can take a little photograph of it and we can upload that to the assignment, to the Google Classroom, so your teacher can actually see it. So I'm on a laptop at the moment, I've got a camera on the laptop, so I'm just going to pretend I've actually done a little bit of work here. I'm going to go to the camera, and on the camera I am going to take a photo. Brilliant, don't think I was looking there. And then I go back to the Google Classroom, we're just going to imagine that I've actually taken a photo, and I can upload it to the class later on. Okay, the other way of actually using the Google Classroom or using the things you have through your Glow account is actually just to open a Word online document. Now, again, we could just open a normal Word document, but depending on the device you're using, you might not have access to Microsoft Office. However, if you have a Glow account, as we all do, you can actually access Word Online, which is a really handy tool, which I'll show you now. So we're going to pretend that we've kind of read the questions and we need somewhere to answer them. So if I go back to my Launchpad on Glow, we're going to have a, okay, and there we go, it's Office 365. Now this is what gives us access to all of the Microsoft Office applications that we have available through Glow, and it's a really, really handy tool because it actually saves automatically online to your cloud space. So there's no need to save things, you've got no chance of actually losing your work because it will always be saved to your online storage. Okay, so now we're in the onboard. So we can see here we've got Outlook, which is our email. We've got OneDrive, which is our online storage. We have 1.5 terabytes of online storage, and then Office applications here. We're going to use Word Online for this one so that we can answer the comprehension questions. So click Word Online. I want to open a new blank document, and it opens up in another tab, which is actually quite handy. And then it opens up a new document. So the first thing I want to do is I want to change the name of the document. So I click up at the top, up to the title, and we're going to call this Word Online Mr. G. Okay, and I'll maybe call it Comprehension because that's the activities that I am going to do. Okay, so click Enter. Right, now this is Word Online. It doesn't have every single feature of the full kind of Microsoft Word package, but it does have most of the things you would have really need. This section is actually really good, so it means you can actually talk into the computer and it types it for you. I've done another tutorial about that you can check out. Okay, but just for the purpose of this one, we're going to call it Comprehension Activities, and then just pretend that we're doing question 1. and then we do question 2, and so on and so forth. Okay, say for example you get a little bit tired and you think, oh, it's getting late, and you think, well, I'm not going to finish this all today. Do not worry about it, okay, because Microsoft Word Online actually saves every few seconds. So just to demonstrate this, I'm going to close this down, and we can pretend that we've gone to bed, we've got up the next day. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we go in through the Launchpad, we go to the Office 365 Home. Okay, that again takes us to our little kind of dashboard for Microsoft Office. OneDrive is our storage where everything is stored, so I'm going to click on there, and hopefully, if I've done this correctly, it will have automatically this drive. And there we go. Test for submitting Mr. G Word Online Comprehension. There we go. I completed. Sorry, because it was about Mr. G comprehension. So if I click on that, it should go before I closed it down. Okay, so let's say I want to continue with the document. We're going to number 3, and then I'm going to do number 4, for example, and you just kind of continue as is, and as you can see, it's just saving as I go. Now, this is actually stored online at the moment. As I mentioned before, the easiest way is to download things to your device and then upload them. Unfortunately, a lot of the Glow applications, which is for everyone in Scotland, don't marry up perfectly with all of the Google Classroom things, which is obviously it's a worldwide thing. So what we are going to do is we are going to download this onto our computer. So we go to File, we go to Save As, and then we've got an option here of Download a Copy. So if we click on that, it should open up this. Okay, so I want to download it, and it will open up the familiar where to save it. Here we are. I'm already in Scotland Primary in the Google Classroom. I've got Mr. G Comprehension Word Online, so I want to save that, and I'll go back to that later on. Okay, the final way, the final thing I want to show you, is DocHub. So if I go to, okay, so I'm back at the comprehension strategy thing now. Okay, if I use these 3 little dots up here, click on that, it allows me to open in a new window. And as I mentioned before, opening a new window, access to a few other options which are quite handy. One of them is DocHub. Okay, so it opens it in a new window. Now I click on Open with DocHub. Okay, now DocHub is essentially, it's almost like a piece of glass which has been put over the top of the PDF document so that you can actually write on it. Okay, so I can actually go to the questions that I want to answer, and I can, for example, I can kind of circle the answers that I want. I can write over the top of it. I have the option of adding a little text box. Once you have, you're happy with the work that you've done, we, as I mentioned before, we download it to the computer. Okay, so I want to download it to the computer. There are other options here. These, I'm not going to show you these now because they work slightly differently depending on the device you're using. But I'm on the computer, I want to download it to my computer. It opens up the dialog box. Okay, so I'm just going to change the file and call it Mr. G at the end of it. Again, it's in Scotland Google Classroom, let's save. Okay, so now we've looked at different ways of completing the actual work that a teacher sets. We're going to go back and have a look to upload the work. So let's go back to our Google Classroom. Okay, we're back in our basically assignment. And what I want to do now is I want to upload the work for the teacher because I've completed all of the things. So click on Add or Create. It gives us a few options here. The one that I want to use here is File. Click on File. Select Files from your device. Okay, and we have the little dialog box, so I can see here there's the comprehension strategies that I downloaded from DocHub. There's the Word Online comprehension from Word Online. I've got the photograph I took through the camera of my work and also the completed Word activity that I did on my computer. Select them all and open. All of them are there, ready to upload. Click Upload. And documents are there ready to get handed in. So just to check, I'm going to click on the comprehension strategies booklet. Scroll down and you can see that that's definitely the one that I did before. Have a wee look at the picture. Yeah, not the best picture in the world of myself. Okay, so everything is there. The last thing we have to do is just basically hand in. Okay, it tells me what I'm going to hand in. Click hand in, and I can see the work has been handed in. I've got the option of unsubmitting it, but I don't want to do that. I'm quite happy with everything. I can maybe leave a wee message if I wanted to for the teacher. But that's up to yourself. Thank you very much for listening. I know that's quite a long video, but I hope it was helpful. And I'll catch up with you soon. Bye bye.